Archangel Zadkiel, being centered in oneness. Greetings, beloved Owens. We are Archangels Amethyst and Zadkiel, and we greet you with love. Today, we wish to discuss being centered in oneness. Being centered in oneness is an understanding that you are part of a magnificent plan. All beings, minerals, plants, and animals are part of the oneness. Each part of creation shares a common origin. Each part of creation has a spark of the divine. There is no separation. It is only a matter of expression. Each part of creation has a mission and purpose. When you are aligned with your mission, you are carrying out your part of the divine plan. As you are focusing on your part of the divine plan, you know that every other being is doing its part. With this realization, you are aware that an important part of being centered in oneness is the way you interact with other beings. A starting point is to remember that all beings are part of the oneness and carry a divine spark in their heart center. This is the element that connects you with all beings. Even though you may be expressing your incarnations in different ways, you share this common bond. A characteristic of this bond is divine love. The divine spark carries this love. The more you focus on your divine spark, the greater your divine love field will grow. When you interact with another being, you are aware of their divine spark and your common origin. You do not have to be on the same path or agree with how they are living their path. You can recognize your common origin and send them divine love. As you focus on your divine origin, you realize that you are sharing a common field of energy. There is no separation. All of creation exists within a common field of energy. Every thought, feeling, or action ripples out throughout the common field of energy to all other beings. What is put out by an individual can affect the collective. For example, when you put out thoughts of love and highest good, this ripples out to everyone, including yourself. This realization places increased importance on monitoring your intentions, thoughts, and feelings. Your intentions set the stage for thoughts and feelings. They all carry an energetic charge as you process them. The stronger your feelings about them, the stronger charge they will carry. This awareness presents you with a great opportunity to be of service for highest good. If you set an intention for the highest good for all, your energy begins to align with this intention. You view all beings as part of the oneness. You begin to live your daily life according to highest good. You may express kindness by smiling at someone or holding the door open for them. You have compassion and empathy for those who are struggling. You are secure in who you are, even though someone else may be on a different path. You maintain your focus of oneness and highest good. Beloved Owens, we are happy that you are being centered in oneness. Know that you are greatly loved. We are Archangels Amethyst and Zadkiel, and we surround you with love. And so it is. Sanhia, is everything pre-planned? Participant, is everything pre-planned? I knew you were going to ask that. Laughs, just kidding a little. Both the short answer and the long answer is yes. One of the favorite games of the ego mind is convincing you that you have choice. Not only does it convince you that you have the power of choice, but also that your choices will affect what will happen in the illusion. Therefore, you have a great responsibility to choose well, because what you choose is what you are going to get. We will start out by asking our favorite question: how has that worked for you so far? Certainly, if you have received whatever you have chosen, we would not be having this conversation. What need would you have for a disembodied voice if you had all the money, fame, success, relationships, sex, adventures, and good health you could ever want? Obviously, you have received many things you never in your worst nightmares would have asked for. I assume for all of you to varying degrees, getting what you think you want has not been the normal result for you. What that leaves is the possibility that you didn't do a good enough job allowing into many doubts or thoughts that you could not have what you wanted. In this scenario, if you had been pure in your thoughts, everything would have worked out perfectly. A corollary to this is that you don't deserve what you want. Participant is the only choice to follow the will of God. Wow. You are way ahead of me. Perhaps we should switch places. We will come around to that point, but let's fill in a few blanks first. The bottom line here is that if you have the ability to choose and your choice will make a positive difference, then why don't your choices always work out? Of course, most of you will think of examples where you did choose something, and it more or less happened as you desired it to. The question then is, having received what you asked for, did that leave you feeling full and complete? The honest answer to that probably is that though it might have felt good for a period of time, eventually there was something else that you wanted. Perhaps there was not even a short-term satisfaction before realizing that you did not find the feeling you were hoping to have. So, the choosing continues on and on, without ever delivering the heaven that has been sought. More likely there is a failure even to gain what is desired. Let's jump over to the other side and assume that it makes absolutely no difference what you choose or don't choose. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen. Sometimes your wishes are aligned with that result, and sometimes they aren't. When what happens is aligned, you believe that you did it. You don't want it to rain because you have a picnic planned, and the skies remain clear. Do you now believe that you have power over the weather? If it had rained, who would you have pointed the finger at and blame? Yourself? God? Global warming? Alignment does not prove cause and effect. What if the whole script is already written out and there is nothing you can do to change that story? Participant, but sometimes I find myself at a fork in the road, and my whole life will change based on whether I bend to the left or to the right. Doesn't that show that choice does make a difference? Good question. It certainly shows that there is an illusion of the power of choice. It could be said that the choice you make was already written. Participant, but Sanhia, it feels like I could have chosen in the opposite way. Then why didn't you? You chose the only way you could choose. Let's look at how the ego mind actually operates. It is no different than a computer. It is programmed and acts and reacts from that programming. In your programming you have been taught to believe and to act in accordance with all that you have experienced in what appears to be your life story. All of that conditioning leads to the choice you make in this moment. In another moment you might choose quite differently because included in your program now are the results from your previous choice. Your choice in the moment might also be affected by the emotions you are experiencing right at that time. Did you choose to be angry, impatient, pessimistic, or optimistic? When it was time to make your choice, things constantly change, things that you have little or no control over. Perhaps the choice you are making is totally influenced by your parents' teachings. Do you remember choosing those parents? Did you choose the teachers you had growing up? Did you choose your religion or lack of one? Did you choose a friend who suddenly appears in your story? Did you pick your race, gender, or the area where you lived in your formative years? The answers are obvious. Of course not. Yet, all of these experiences formed who you feel yourself to be, and out of them you are programmed to make choices. All these events were planned. Nothing was random. Nothing was chosen by you. Yet, you act as if you have a power to control the world, to determine your future. That, too, has been programmed into you. As long as you attempt to guide things, you will be frustrated. The best outcome is that you have moments of feeling successful, periods of peace and happiness. Those moments will end. More likely you will experience a sense of failure and look at your future with foreboding. Imagine for a moment that you have no choice, that everything is unfolding as it is meant to. You are off the hook. You have no responsibility. You can neither puff up your chest and take credit for what has happened, nor blame yourself and feel guilt. You did neither of those things. The place that we call the awakened state is simply one where there is absolute acceptance for what is. Nothing can be changed. It is simply happening. It would be futile to resist what already is, because it cannot be changed. It already is. Close your eyes and pretend it isn't there, but it is still there. You can want to change it, but the genie is already out of the bottle. Here is what the ego mind does when it hears this news. It goes into absolute terror and denial. It asks, how can you ever be happy in life if you can't create what you want? Are you expected to bite the bullet and accept whatever shit comes your way? This, according to the ego mind, is the worst of all hells. Here's what happens when you give up fighting what is, and simply experience it, and live with it. You begin to experience the fullness of life. Ego mind is screaming that what is here isn't right, it isn't good, it isn't what you should have. I am telling you that what is happening is perfect, is exactly what should be happening, is just what you need. Spirit, the divine, is presenting your perfect now. It is eons beyond what you could have chosen for yourself, and remember your track record. Everything is given in love. Participant, so again, the only choice I really have is to choose the will of God. Maybe this will make me more content with life. As you said, the only choice I really have is to choose the will of God, but that is still a choice. That may be your intention, but who is expressing that intention? Like all choice, it can only come from the ego mind. Like all your other plans, it may or may not happen. Armed with that intention, you drive off down the road only to find you have a flat tire. Is your mind just fine with all of that, or do you find yourself in resistance to what is? These reactions are immediate and programmed. The habit that has been nurtured for so long is to resist the will of God, and then to choose what you think would be better. Maybe at some point the awareness that you are resisting what is occurs to you and you stop fighting. Each experience rewires your data base. Another day you might find yourself just fine with a flat tire, as it happens. Perhaps the gap between noticing the resistance and accepting what is will continually narrow. In the meantime, I will simply remind you that not accepting God's gifts always leaves you feeling separate from your own divinity. My voice is now a part of your programming, as are your attempts and failures to heed it. Be certain that your opportunities to let go of your personal will shall be unlimited. In the meantime, are you in guilt and blame when your choice for God's will fails to materialize? Are you then choosing to give up guilt and blame? Who is choosing that? And so it goes. Laughter. This doesn't mean that things are hopeless and you are helpless. The perfect thing is always happening right now. What you think of as you just isn't in control. If choosing is present, if guilt and blame are there, you notice that. If you have thought of changing how you respond, you notice that. You are not going to be able to change either of those things. They have already happened, but the noticing, the experience, and the awareness are now part of your programming. Perhaps then over time you find it easier and easier to accept God's will. More quickly you are able to let go of why is this happening. And poor me, you might find yourself letting go of guilt and blame more speedily. You do this not because of setting such goals, but through the experience that none of that stuff works. It can feel hard to surrender and trust the will of God instead of pursuing what you want to happen. Participant, how can it be easier? Your personal will chooses only out of a sense of separation from God, not from alignment. Personal will accepts almost nothing, as it is. Instead it thinks about would feel better, and visualizes a future with all its desires met, a fantasy of peace, love, and joy. Again, we return to our favorite question, so, how has that worked out for you so far? There are 3 primary reasons why it hasn't worked out. The first is that you don't have a clue. What you think will bring you happiness will never do so, will never bring you that sense of peace and oneness. The second reason is that you are looking in the wrong place. The world cannot give you what you want, because it is simply the projection of your lack. What you seek is within you. It lies with your thoughts and beliefs. If you want love, then be love. Finally, as is the whole point of this message, it is already decided. There is nothing you can do to change anything. For a moment let's leap back over to the other side, to the part of you that is able to accept what is without any need or attempt to change it. We could call this the awakened self. Although the sense of self has disappeared, there is an observation of that self taking place. But there is no ownership of it. The idea of choice is not present here. This jump cannot be chosen, though you may make efforts toward it by letting go of personal will and asking to hear and follow God's will. To believe that you have choice and are separate from divinity is the sleeping self living in a dream while believing it is real. This sleeping self believes it must use its personal will, its choice, to protect itself from the universe or from God. The awakened you is one with everything, experiencing rather than choosing and resisting. Participant, you have been talking about being in the now and accepting what is, that what is here now is exactly what is needed for me. Yes. In this perfection of the now, if you are truly there, there is no question of choice. Choice only exists in the horizontal when the mind is referring to the ideas of past and present. In the present there is no choice to make, there is just what is here. Rather than choice there is simply action or reaction, and that also just happens. Any thought of needing to make a choice indicates you are no longer in the now and have drifted off back into sleep. Notice that. That becomes part of your experience. The now is relentless, and you have infinite opportunities to be present or not. Again, you cannot choose to be present, but you can notice when you are not. Interesting. Notice where there is judgment, blame, or guilt. Interesting. Yes, this preplanned world is absolutely perfect. Everything that is present exists to stimulate that leap of faith, that awakening. If your ego mind is running the show right now, that is what is perfect. Notice that, and accept it. Or don't notice, or don't accept. It doesn't matter. It is still perfect. When it is time to notice or to accept, you will do that. Nothing you do in following the lies of the ego mind makes any real difference. What is true, and what is true is of love and of God. The rest is a dream, or if you prefer, a nightmare. There is no such thing as failure or success, but there is a perfection in holding on to the belief in them until you don't. Spirits GPS is guiding you and loving you in every moment, even when you feel the most alone and abandoned. Good now. Sanhia/Spirit. Stairway to Heaven. There is a stairway to heaven. It leads through the heavenly realms of the afterlife and continues even further, all the way to the ultimate state of consciousness from which the universe sprang into existence. Infinite being, the ultimate source of all things, created a universe of infinite diversity, of infinite parts of the whole. As humanity, we are the adventurers, who projected ourselves into physical experience in order to bring deeper focus into our experience. Our purpose in the physical realm of consciousness is to gain a sharply defined sense of identity, and to grow from there. The long-term mission of each and every one of us is to gain expanded awareness through life's experiences until we eventually return to the one God, no longer as curious seekers, but as self-realized, conscious gods. The steps of the stairway are formed by 9 density layers within the consciousness of the Creator. Each density layer is composed of a different degree of compression of Creator consciousness. The higher steps are more ethereal, or less compressed, than the lower ones. The lower steps are more compressed, more sharply focused, and more clearly defined than the ones above. Every density layer, or dimension, as some people call them, is composed of consciousness. Even the physical world, with its apparently physical objects, is really composed of 100% consciousness, compressed in a way that appears to be solid. The 9 densities of creation. The 9 densities of creation are divided into 3 groups of 3 densities. These 3 groups contain the material, spiritual, and cosmic layers of existence. The material group of densities. The 3 most dense layers are the material group. These relate to basic physical existence. First density matter. First density consciousness is the realm of the atoms and molecules of physical matter as well as the basic sense of survival. This is the natural frequency of the consciousness of the elements which form the basis of physical matter, including the physical bodies employed by plants, animals, and humans. Second density biology. Second density supports the consciousness of plant and animal life as well as the urge to grow. Plant life, for example, reproduces and spreads until it reaches the limits provided by its environment. Second density is also the frequency of the basic emotions, such as anger and fear. While plants and animal life resonate to a second density frequency and consist of first density atomic particles, they are located in our world in third density existence. There is no first or second density planet Earth. The lowest frequency manifested by planet Earth is third density. Third density individuality. Third density is the current realm of existence for the combined consciousness of physical humanity. It is where the consciousness of individuality and self-awareness is developed. Humanity's experience of separation from its inner source is a deliberate experiment whereby the illusion of physical existence becomes very real. The game of human physicality began long ago. As curious spirits, we progressed into a desire for maximum effect and then went on to discover how to create total immersion within the game. It is this total immersion within physicality which makes life on Earth seem so real, so full of passion, so disconnected from our spiritual source, and yet full of so much potential for self-discovery. The experience of humanity's separation from its inner source is achieved through using a physical brain which focuses on the 5 senses. These senses feed information to the brain from a universe which appears to be external. Our brains are wired to perceive space and to experience time. The turning of our attention away from inner, spiritually connected information provides a sharply defined sense of individuality, one which would not have been possible were our brains designed differently. Third density consciousness also supports other qualities for an evolving consciousness, such as the discovery of courage and optimism, and the development of intellect and reason. The spiritual group of densities. The next layers of density are the spiritual group, the gateway to spiritual consciousnesses. through the level of consciousness to which mankind is currently awakening, that of heart-centered consciousness. For humanity, this is where the adventure really begins. Fourth density integration. In fourth density consciousness, the heart awakens to a natural unrestricted flow of unconditional love. In third density consciousness, humans develop themes of separation from each other. In fourth density, they develop integration, or the healing of separation. Fourth density is where the spirit realm, or afterlife, is located. Here, people resolve and integrate the emotional experiences that they gained during their physical lives. When today's massive shift in consciousness has played through sufficiently, fourth density will also become the new location for physical human beings. In this density, the qualities of balance and unconditional love are developed, which lead to the development of inner joy. Fifth density soul consciousness. Fifth density brings with it the ability to create powerful realities, and to transcend space and time. Once spirits in the afterlife have integrated their emotions and resolved their conflicts, they can pass on into fifth density. Fifth density is a non-physical realm of the soul, of the higher self or inner being. Your inner being is your complete consciousness, and therefore includes the subconscious and superconscious aspects of mind. Your inner being has a clear connection to the higher densities, and to infinite being. Therefore, developing a clear connection to your inner being provides you with a direct source of spiritual empowerment. While your immediate soulmates may number, typically, 7 other souls, your soul family is much larger. It is closer to 2,000 individuals grouped together in a huge family of people with common likes and interests. You share a similar energetic background, history, and many preferences as to the kinds of experiences that you enjoy. These are the people with whom you share the most empathy. 2. Your inner being. They are the essence of home. Of the other members of your soul family, less than half will typically be in physical incarnation at any given time. Many will live in other countries, and in other parts of your country. When you meet them, you recognize them as people whom you feel are special in some way. There is a resonance within your own consciousness that is quite different to how you would react to a total stranger. Sixth density, the angelic realms. Sixth density is home to some of the greatest beings who have ever graced the earth with their presence. The field of consciousness of a world spiritual teacher, for example, is enormous in comparison to the field of consciousness of one typical human. It is because of this great capacity of consciousness, along with their ability to divide their attention into many parts at one time, which allows world teachers to service the needs of all those who call upon them in their times of need. Archangels and world teachers are based in the upper reaches of sixth density so that their awareness can encompass the entire planet in all its manifestations in fifth, fourth, and third densities. In this way, these global spirits are capable of detecting and responding to multiple calls for assistance all at once. The cosmic group of densities. When the ladder of human evolution has been climbed to its ultimate spiritual heights, there is only one place to go next in the grand scheme of creation. That next step is to become a part of the intelligence of a planetary being. Seventh density planetary consciousness. There is much more to Gaia, the planet Earth, than meets the eye. Seventh density is home to planet-size fields of consciousness. In the third density physical realm, she provides a home for humanity. Her spiritual heart, however, resides in this non-physical, seventh density realm of spiritual light. It is not by chance that seventh density is where cosmic consciousness occurs. This is the entry-level density layer devoted to the cosmic scale of consciousness. A human being can visit 7th density during a period of cosmic consciousness, but they cannot reside there permanently, as it is designed to be a realm which is home to fields of planet-sized consciousness. 8th density solar consciousness. The spiritual heart of the sun is in 8th density consciousness. What we see in 3rd density is its physical body, which is a faint reflection of its 8th density spiritual radiance. An insight into the true scale of the magnetic body of the sun can be gained from the heliosphere. This is a magnetized sphere of energy which stretches from the sun 4 times further than the outermost planet of Pluto in every direction. That's a 22 billion mile wide magnetic body which contains, sustains, and cares for the planets and all life forms within its sphere. As well as living within the sun's 3rd density heliosphere, we are connected at the 8th density level of consciousness with the spiritual being we call the sun. You cannot be born within its sphere without first becoming a part of it energetically. We are, as stated correctly by ancient cultures, children of the sun. Likewise, before you were first physically born on earth, your soul passed through an initiation of birth through the holy flame of the Logos, of the Mother Earth. On a cosmic scale of consciousness, she is your spiritual mother, just as the sun is your spiritual father. In the grand scheme of creation, the earth contains the closest consciousness to God within your reach, and the sun contains the closest consciousness to God within your sight. Sending your love and gratitude to the sun and the earth not only makes perfect sense, it is the oldest spiritual practice on earth, and one of the most potent. 9th density the galaxies and their central suns. A galaxy is a living cell within the consciousness of the universe. Like the sun, which later gave birth to its planets, each galaxy gave birth to the suns within its massive body. Although the central sun of each galaxy distributes a constant supply of higher energy from the Creator to the manifest universe, the central suns do not radiate physical light, and are therefore invisible to the human eye. The photograph above shows a cluster of stars gathered near the center of that galaxy, not a central sun. To appreciate the scale of creation, radio astronomy has given us some idea of the total count of galaxies in existence. Currently, there are believed to be between 100 and 125 billion galaxies in existence in the universe. The 3 aspects of the Creator. Before creation, there existed only infinite being, as perfect, unchanging consciousness. Then, infinite being entered an active mode in order to achieve creation by using the 3 creative principles of thought, feeling, and motion. This active expression of infinite being then created the 9-density structure within the envelope of the universe. Those 3 creative principles also represent the divine functions of creation, preservation, and sustenance as performed by the founders, the watchers, and the central sun of the universe. The founders of life in the universe, or lords of creation, are the fundamental designers of all that exists. As humans are created in the likeness of Creator consciousness, we mold the world in ways that we see fit. The watchers. These are the guardians of all of creation. The watchers, or lords of karma, ceaselessly observe and adjust the universe to keep it in perfect balance in accordance with the all-pervasive law of action and reaction. The function of the watchers is to protect all life in the universe. When necessary, they immerse themselves into the deeper densities in order to manage details, or to initiate new projects within the universe. One such project is very familiar to us, the creation of human consciousness and its gradual immersion into deeper, and therefore more sharply focused, layers of density. Like all layers of consciousness, we are directly connected to the watchers. They are part of the spiritual lineage which connects us to the ultimate state from which we all came, that of infinite being. In third density physical existence, karma is often perceived as a negative because it reflects every thought and action, including fear and hate, with fear being a reminder that courage is essential to human evolution. However, karma is simply a law of natural, perfect balance as it guarantees that all created thoughts and actions generate appropriate experiences. In physics, it is stated as the law, action and reaction are opposite and equal. It is neither positive nor negative. It provides a neutral reflection of who you are now. When a person moves from material consciousness into heart-centered consciousness, it may appear that their old karmic pattern has ended. It has. In its place is a reflection of the new person and their unconditional love for all. As a fundamental law of the universe, however, karma never ceases to exist. This property of creational action is interwoven in the fabric of the living universe, the central sun of the universe. This is the power source of all life in the created universe. From it, energy flows in a vibrational cascade down through the central suns of the galaxies and the suns of each solar system, providing cosmic, spiritual, mental, etheric, and physical energies as needed by all life forms. Beyond the universe, infinite being. Infinite being is the indivisible one, the origin of all that is. The 9 densities of this universe are held within its consciousness. The ultimate in human potential. As the one creator immersed itself into the deeper layers of its own creation, it progressively expanded the possibilities for exploration. Today, as expressions of infinite being, we function as self-aware humans, operating under unique conditions in this grand adventure called life. As we gain human experience and progressively increase our awareness, we become spiritual humans. Then we become ascended humans, and, eventually, we rejoin the larger, cosmic scheme of things on our path back to the original source from which we came. Energetically, we exist, not just in third density, but on all density levels of creation. We are one with infinite being in its ultimate state, and we are connected to all of its levels of manifestation. While the one creator is the original creative power, we are also endowed with the ability to create our reality as a living reflection of our thoughts, our beliefs, and our view of life and its possibilities. Within us, we have unlimited potential to create lives which are full of joy, purpose, and meaning. Within your life, you can choose any path that you determine, and once you set an intention, a pathway opens up for you to fulfill that intention. As soon as you make a definite intention as to your new reality, the universe begins to reorganize itself around that new reality. Now, to amplify that power of creativity to almost miraculous levels, consciously align yourself with your inner being and determine what is most important to you at that deepest level. Your 5th density inner being is your soul level of consciousness. It is your own personal doorway to a full connection to infinite being. When you reaffirm your connection with your inner being, you are connecting to the very level of consciousness which has the most creative power. In aligning with your inner self, you can fulfill any potential that you can imagine and become a living expression of your desired path through life. Your conscious alignment with such inner creative power will make synchronicity flow. It will open doorways along the way and dissolve barriers, making your pathway smooth and natural. To study this more deeply, read the e-book, Soul Inspiration by Owen. Your inner self is your personal connection to infinite being, and it is the source of your spiritual empowerment. State consciously that you intend to work with the full range of your own consciousness and then watch miracles unfold within your life. Source: rayofflight.com. The other videos are in the English video playlist. Help me spread the light. Click like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you.